It's very interesting to look at history and recognize the first few sermons we have after the apostolic preaching actually are communicating to both Christians and non-Christians from the church gathering. Secondly, I would recommend that as pastors, teachers, preachers, we also build a bridge in the content that we are communicating. We always preach Christ, and we always preach Christ's word. Through, I would recommend a Christ-centered interpretation of scriptures, a Christ-centered hermeneutics. So whatever passage we are communicating from, of course, we study that passage. We understand how that passage spoke to the first audience. But then, through the lenses of Christ's person, message, and work, we see the Spirit gives a more full understanding to that particular passage as it points to Christ as well. And therefore, we are always preaching to both Christians and non-Christians, always the Bible and Christ. Also, thirdly, I would suggest we build a bridge on the use of apologetics. It is so useful for our communications to non-Christian only. But why wouldn't we also apply apologetics in the life of the church, in the message that we are communicating through our sermons and teachings on a weekly basis for the non-Christians present, but also to ensure the faith of Christians and equip them to their Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays, wherever they are, as they share the gospel with non-Christians. And finally, I would suggest we also apply contextualization to our weekly sermons. Whatever gathering of the church that is taking place, either the services or youth group, and try to communicate in such a way that we are speaking with a vocabulary, we are giving additional layers of background to the passage. We are intentional about acknowledging and welcoming those who are not Christians to that gathering. We are taking people by the hand where they are, and we are taking them through a deep but relevant communication of scriptures, speaking to both Christians and non-Christians, using a language, using frameworks, a set of argument, introduction and conclusions that are relevant to both Christians and non-Christians. I think I would suggest the building of those 4 bridges as we seek to always preach to Christians and non-Christians during our Sunday or Saturday, whenever we meet as a church.